And what's up, dude? Is that people have asked me, well, now that you have like two main sticks, because I had the Hori Fighting Stick Alpha, and that was a YouTube video, it did really well. It was called the stick I use daily, and I have it back here. Let me grab it. You did indeed get first. You stole first from Aliet and Creeper. Aliet and Creeper usually fight for first, but I guess they're old, so they're not awake yet. Old people need their nappies. So, my assumption is that when people ask, oh, you have two main sticks now, talk about them both, they mean this one, which is the Hori Fighting Stick Alpha, that I spent way too much money on customizing for it to be sitting on this shelf instead of me using it every day. But if you're like, whoa, that's not what a Hori Fighting Stick Alpha looks like what the fuck is this? Let me show you what it looks like. This is what a Hori Fighting Stick Alpha looks like, stock standard, right here. Just like that. It's a little more basic than mine, right? Noir layout, plastic plexi instead of an aluminum one, a ball top, all Hori parts, right? But I swapped over to a Hori silent lever with a 4-pound spring, a combo bat top, combo gravity buttons, and silent combo gravity buttons, as a matter of fact, right? This is the silent Hori optical lever, which is really cool. I think what made me want to try the Victrix even more, because I've always kind of wanted the Victrix. Let me grab that. Always kind of wanted the Victrix. Ugh, damn, this motherfucker's heavy. Is the body and form factor of this, other than the fact that it's plastic, really reminded me of the Victrix. So I was like, ooh, like, I have an opportunity to buy one at like a not exorbitant price. Fuck it, do it. Like, buy one, right? Because this stick is like the consumer grade best arcade stick. Like, if we're being real, if I'm being honest, I don't think it's the Titan. I don't think it's the Nacon Daija. The Nacon Daija is like $50 more and doesn't really offer that many more features. Not really. Like, let's be honest, it's just a bigger body, but it doesn't offer many more features. This is like the consumer grade arcade stick. For tournament, it's perfect because it's light. For home play, it's perfect because it's light and it still has padding on the back. It's got really nice lap play, right? Like, these are really, really nice. Now, ask yourself, Kraylin. Let me put the background up so people can see what you're saying. Ask yourself, Kraylin. I'm not here to pad shame. I want to buy like a specialty pad so I can start using it for shooting games. Ask yourself, how many pads do you go through a year? If you buy an Xbox pad and it's $70 and you break, say you play fighting games all the time, you're going to break 2 of these pads a year if you're playing fighting games all the time. $70 times 3, because you need 3 of them. That's $210. That's the same price as a consumer grade arcade stick. It's really actually not that much more expensive, right? And that's because this is a PS5 licensed arcade stick, so it's expensive. If you get like an off-the-shelf arcade stick that doesn't work with a console, that only works with PC, because you don't need it to, controllers are $70. Say you break 2 controllers, because you play on pad a lot. Pads break if you play fighting games all the time. Maybe you don't because you play a lot of shooting games mixed in. Sometimes you play games with keyboard and mouse like Valorant. So you're mixing in other games. But say all you did was grind Street Fighter or grind Tekken day in, day out, and you broke your pad 2 times a year. Yeah. Say you break 2 to 3 pads, and that's just saying you break 2 pads a year. Some people break 2 to 3 pads in 6 months, right? Because they're Tekken heads, so they're like doing the KBDs and shit. They're doing all this shit, and then they're like, oh fuck, my down backs aren't coming out clean anymore. Gotta get a new pad, so they throw this bitch out because you can't replace anything on it. They throw this whole thing out the window, and they go buy another one for $70. Some pad players spend upwards of $700 a year on like better pads, right? They try to buy better quality pads, and then they still break them. So it all depends on the person. It all depends on the preference and the play style. If you like pad, it's okay to like pad, but pads are also an expensive endeavor because they don't have replaceable parts. Replaceable parts, right? This arcade stick, if I take care of it, can last me 10 years, 15 years. I have a stick down there that I've had since the PS4 launched. I forgot I had it, but I have it. I have a stick down there. It's as old as the PS4's launch. Maybe not. I think the stick itself technically came out a year after the PS4. I think it came out in 2014 or 2013. One of the other. Coming out, I think it was one of the first Hori sticks to come out for the PS4. I still have it. The PS4 is a fucking decade old, and it still works. All of the original parts are still on it. I haven't changed anything out. Like, sticks can be extremely expensive or they can be extremely cheap. That's $130 or $140 arcade stick down there, and it's still in full working condition. Now back to the point. This is the consumer grade version of like a high quality arcade stick. I really like the Hori Fighting Stick Alpha. I think that this is still like my second most used arcade stick, right? It's got the buttons I like, it's got the parts I like, it's got a feel that I like. It's very wide, right? I don't like these short little baby arcade sticks that don't have any space for you to put your hands, for you to put your wrists and stuff. I'm not a heavy guy. Okay, let me find a better way to put this. No, that was the best way to say it. I'm not a heavy guy. I don't have a lot of like extra weight on me, so this sits on my lap perfect. I've heard from some heavier people that, oh, this gets in the way of my stomach, bro. Like, I can't have all this down here. I need a thinner arcade stick because all this is gonna bump into my stomach and I have to play with my arms further forward. I'm skinny. That's not a problem for me, right? And that same issue could come up with the Victrix because the Victrix is not too much more shallow than this. Now, let me get the Victrix, and we'll talk about that. I mean, hell, I was playing D2, doing a shit ton of in-game PvP, and the pad had stick drift, both sticks, and the square button is bad. Yeah, see, so you see how it's time for a new pad already? The problem is they don't make pads with replaceable parts. You know, if they made pads with replaceable parts, they would not make as much money. Maybe they would make a lot of money, actually, because people would be able to customize it, and they'd buy a bunch of spare parts all the time instead of buying a whole new body. Anyways, here's the Victrix. This is my new main stick. Unfortunately, I swapped back to the viewless layout, but I think what happened was I tried so hard to emulate the Victrix with the Hori Fighting Stick Alpha here by putting the aluminum panel on it, by giving it a detachable lever mod, by giving it a detachable cable mod, because I did that it made me say, you know what, fuck it. Like, if you see one, just buy it. Buy the Victrix. And I did it, and it's got lighting. It's got like a cool aesthetic. It always feels nice. It's easy to put in a backpack, easy to sit on your lap. Less internal space, but the internals look beautiful. The internals look beautiful. Look at that shit. Look at that fucking wire management. Right? That's pretty dope. I think that this is a nice high quality arcade stick. $350 for the PS4 version, $400 for the PS5 version. They need to make a new Xbox version because you can't find the Xbox versions anymore, and that's very unfortunate because there's a lot of people on the Xbox ecosystem still that would really, really, really like this stick. Get a stick and practice on stick instead of pad. Maybe buy a cheap arcade stick. Don't buy something super expensive. I can show you some things that I think that are perfect beginner arcade sticks, especially if you're only looking to play on PC for the beginning. I guess I can make a little YouTube video out of that too. So the main difference between this stick and the Hori Fighting Stick Alpha is the Hori Fighting Stick Alpha has more tournament viability. There's a lock function on it. It has PS4, PS5, PC compatibility with the little slider. The new Victrix has that too. It's on the inside. This thing doesn't actually have a way to technically program both L3 and R3. It has a lock function. They both have a lock function. They both have a headphone jack. They both have a mute function for their headphone jack. They both have, I don't think this has software to change the buttons and to change the lever and stuff. The Hori Fighting Stick Alpha does. The Hori Fighting Stick Alpha is actually a full-featured arcade stick. It's just a plastic body. It's a high-quality piece of kit that may look like a toy, but I think it's a really good arcade stick. I would never tell someone to shy away from picking up a Hori Fighting Stick Alpha if they like Hori parts. If you don't like Hori parts, but you have other parts already, maybe pick up some other parts. I think the big thing is a lot of people, when they first start, and they're like, oh, I don't know what stick to buy. Everyone just tells them, oh, buy someone with Sonos, buy someone with Sonos, buy someone with Sonos. So they look at this, and they see it doesn't have Sonos, and they don't buy it. As you see, I purchased one. I have one already. And before that one, I had the Xbox one. I sold that one. I probably shouldn't have. I should just have two of them. They're really cool. I think that if it's your first arcade stick, you don't even know what the best parts are. There's no reason not to just try Hori parts and be like, oh, these are kind of weird. I see what people were talking about. Okay, fair enough. And then like buy a set of Sonos and a Sama lever and swap it in because it's really easy to do. Any monkey can learn how to change arcade stick parts. And I think that that's really cool. If you did like a head-to-head battle between the two, the Victrix and the Hori Fighting Stick Alpha, price to performance, I still think that Hori Alpha is better. Because the Hori Alpha is $200. A brand new Victrix is $350 or $400. And does the exact same things. I want everyone to understand this. Most arcade sticks, no matter the price, do the exact same things. Now, if you ask me which one feels nicer in my hands, I'm going to tell you the Victrix. All day, every day. The only thing I don't like about the Victrix over the Hori Fighting Stick Alpha is the layout. I wish that this had a noir layout. if they made a Noir layout version and we could like ship ours back and get the Noir layout version for like a fee, like $100, $150, I would, bro, take my shit, put my buttons in that one, send me that one. I'm good. I'm cool with that. I'll pay the extra 150 bucks, whatever, for the new case. This layout, it doesn't matter for Street Fighter because I'm only using these 6. Right, it doesn't actually bother me for Street Fighter. What it bothers me for is 3D fighters, which is what I come from, so Soul Calibur, Tekken. And when I get back into those games, I'm going to be more likely to pick up my Hori Fighting Edge, or more likely to pick up my Hori Fighting Stick Alpha over the Victrix. Though, I think my Victrix is probably my most used arcade stick right now. I won't say that it's my favorite, because that's a toss-up between this, the Fighting Edge, and the Fighting Stick Alpha. I love all 3 of these arcade sticks. They're high quality, amazing pieces of kit. But in a head-to-head battle, a shootout, as it were, a 1v1 on Rust, I think price to performance, the Hori Fighting Stick Alpha wins. So if anyone's asking me, what arcade stick should I buy? I have enough for a Victrix. I have $550, $600 saved up. But I see this Hori Fighting Stick Alpha as well. I see this Nikon Daiji as well. I think you should go for the cheaper option. I think you should go for the Hori Fighting Stick Alpha and upgrade it as things come along that you want to change, instead of starting with something super high quality and finding out, oh shit, you know what, I kind of don't like the sound parts. Let me change all these sound parts, right? Because then you're starting with a higher base canvas. You're starting with a $400 canvas and then painting on it, instead of starting with a $200 canvas and painting on it. And the canvases do the same thing and basically have the same ways to paint on them, because they have the same easy internal layout of opening it up to get to your internals. I think the Hori Fighting Stick Alpha is better value, and I think for it being better value and easily able to mimic what a Victrix can do, right? When it comes to adding a detachable cable mod, adding a detachable lever mod, those things don't cost more than $50, right, for both. If you add a detachable cable and a detachable lever, it's like maybe $50, $55. That's still going to have it a whole $150 under the price of the Victrix without even adding the aluminum panel. Aluminum panel, $60. Boom. Look at that. Now you're closer to the price of the Victrix, but you started small. And if there's any of those things you actually don't like, well, I actually kind of don't like the aluminum. Oh my gosh, I'm so glad I didn't buy the Victrix. Maybe the aluminum's not for me. I kind of like having a plexi. You can just put that plexi right back on. The modularity of the Fighting Stick Alpha. Oh, and you can actually put artwork on this without having to engrave it. There's a lot of things that are better about sticks that have plexis, because they're able to be customized easier, and that customization can be changed at the drop of a hat. You can have a new piece of artwork in your Hori Fighting Stick Alpha every day if you want to. You're going to be etching this fucker a lot if you want artwork on it. And when you etch it, it's permanent, bitch. You can't take that shit off. Now me, I don't really plan on doing any etching. If I do, it'd just be my gamer tag somewhere. It'd be like Beanie Thuggish, very small, maybe on the handrest, maybe up here in the top corner, to like offset the Victrix logo on the other side. But I like the clean look. I don't mind the clean look. That's why I swapped my Hori Fighting Stick Alpha's artwork for an aluminum panel. And I realized, well, I kind of like this aluminum shit. This is kind of cool. That's why I wanted this. That's why I decided, fuck it, I'm getting this. Anyways, just a quick comparison, a quick analysis, breakdown of how I feel about both of my 2 main arcade sticks, the Hori Fighting Stick Alpha and the Victrix Pro. I'm going to be real, this isn't really a fair comparison. This is a fucked up shootout, right? And you expect the Victrix to win on all fronts, but honestly, I think the Fighting Stick Alpha is amazing. I think even baseline, the Fighting Stick Alpha is a better overall, more put together and consumer grade product than the Victrix. The Victrix is a high quality piece of kit for someone who doesn't want to do a lot of customizing and wants the best experience out of the box. And a lot of arcade stick first timers want to do stuff to their arcade stick. They want to change out parts. They want to change out artwork. They want to add their own little flair to it. You can't really do much of that to the Victrix. You can do a whole lot of that to the Hori Fighting Stick Alpha though. And I think that that makes this a better arcade stick for beginners and just overall as a consumer grade arcade stick. Anyways, you can put your comments and thoughts about it down below in the comment section. You can like the video, subscribe to the channel. We're very close to 500 subscribers. Hopefully we can get that one day so we can get that mucho dinero, those dollar dues off of YouTube. Anyways, this has been Beanie Thuggish for the YouTube, talking about my 2 main arcade sticks, signing out and saying, peace.